where they just absolutely train the troops. The American people are the enemy. And this is all ahead of government-staged attacks to be blamed on the American people. And then Kurt and Watson go through and give all these examples, the New York Times, where kids are being trained in the Boy Scouts to take on disgruntled veterans and kill them and seek and destroy operations. We reported on Missouri National Guard unit at Camp Crowder engaged in training exercises designed to take on fictitious militia group. It's just article after article. Marines running checkpoints, Army running checkpoints. In Iowa, when we interviewed the colonel involved, they admitted they're doing door-to-door gun confiscation drills against the American people. We give you some of the backstory and other examples to give you a clear picture of exactly what's going on. I mean, this is just insane what is happening right now. And you can see it all building towards ahead. John in Kansas, who's military. Go ahead, John. Tell us about any information you have on this.
Hey, Alex. How's it going? I guess, we've all been instructed not to talk about the preparations that are being made, particularly training that is being given right now to even the delayed enlistment program personnel that are going into the Army.
Oh, I forgot. That was in the news 3 years ago that San Antonio ROTC, that their drills are all to take on militias and kill them. See, I mean, I can't even remember all the cases. Sorry. That guys, Google San Antonio ROTC training to kill militias. I'm sorry. Sorry, sir. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. Yeah, the same thing like with the Boy Scouts that are being trained specifically to go to target the military and, military veterans and militia members. But it's, I mean, regardless, nobody...
Okay, I'm going to shut up because this is key info, but I just want to add this. Think about the magnitude that the real training isn't for Muslims that are supposedly the boogeymen that are going to get us. It's almost all for gun-owning Americans. I mean, the government is out of control and criminal. Now, I'm going to shut up. You're saying you're being told not to talk. We have all these documents the military is leaking, so certainly a lot of the troops are upset. Tell us exactly what you know, what you're being told, and if the military's buying this. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so anyways... training has been going on for at least the last 2 years now, that to specifically as soon as boot camp is over, we're all going to be deployed onto the streets actually to work with the police. We're being trained to work with the police specifically to assist the police force on the ground in 4 times of public dissent and civil unrest. And we're being taught crowd control, kettling techniques. I mean, you name it. It's in there, and it's all specifically targeted for dissenting Americans.
And look at the G20. We have the troops there. We walk up and say, what about Posse Comitatus? And they say, we're here to aid the police. But that's illegal.
And you notice that all of the personnel that were firing the sound cannons, they were all military. That's because it is actually developed for war and control over in war zone in Iraq and Afghanistan. So, it's better to have the military personnel operating, the devices of war.
And they use the less lethal weapons. Even there, they call them less lethal, the rubber bullets and everything. And they have the troops now firing the guns, firing the sound cannons at the people. This is all a training aid towards real bullets.
Right. And it's just progressively, as if... imagine everybody always in the protests and stuff. They're always running away. They're always scared. Nobody does anything. If anything, it's the provocateur, undercovers that are actually doing the violence, or the anarchists.
So the military and the police have an excuse to engage them, and they've been caught over and over again. Denver last year, Canada. Oh, okay. Please continue. Tell us what else they're training you for, and what are other military people you're talking to? Are they starting to understand what's happening?
Well, the sad thing is you can get people to realize and agree on the Constitution and what they're supposed to uphold, but at the same time, nobody realizes how important it is. So I think when it comes down to it, most people are just going to fall in line. And if there's 1 or 2 dissenters in the ranks, well, we've been training how to deal with dissent, so they'll get dealt with. I mean, that's
stop right there. Stop right there. They'll be dealt with. Tell us about that training.
Well, again, I don't know how much we're supposed to go into. I mean, actually, I don't even think we're supposed to go into any of this. But you know what?
Well, sir, this is all illegal, what's going on. And they're now acclimating the public with Marine Corps, Army, National Guard, Homeland Security checkpoints. The governor of Tennessee says they can't do it. They do it. They're doing it in California. They're surveilling everybody in Austin. They're building bases all over the place. I mean, this is all going on. This is criminal. This is our military we paid for to be used against us so offshore banks can engage in a takeover of the U.S. I mean, sir, I already know what they do, okay? I already know what the training is. You're trained to take them into custody and put them in handcuffs and take them away.
Well, just let me affirm, I can confirm that everything you talk about is 100% true. And there are so many people out there that are just so brainwashed and, like, I don't know if they're not smart enough or they just don't want to believe it because it seems so terrible because, you know, we've all been brought up now for, 60 years straight now. And this brainwashing of, oh, America is going to, never do anything. We're so much better and above all these other third world countries and stuff. And, most of the time we're the ones going over there and starting the shit in third world countries.
All right. Sir, I appreciate your call, but be careful. Don't. John, I understand you're upset and angry, but do you understand how essential it is for military men and women to go public to the mainstream media and to go on YouTube and to speak out? I mean, troops have said no, after massacres. You have the Germans, just following orders won't cover it. The Germans, people were hung who followed orders. And it is essential that all the military people come out and speak out. And obviously, you're calling in. These documents continue to get leaked. So that shows that the military at many levels is concerned. Do you have any other comments?
I was wondering if you were going to be going to the G20 this year in Toronto.
No, I'm probably not. I mean, I've got so many duties here. And then there's all I'm a big target now. But I do need to still go to events. It's just that, I mean, they could plant weapons on me. They've already tried in Denver. And people haven't lived it. They just haven't experienced it. And the operation I'm running is so important that it's like I'm a general now. I've got to sit back in the headquarters. And I don't even morally like to send my guys off because they get arrested and set up. And they tried to set the guys up when they were out there. But I really should be going to these events. But more citizens should be going out to these events. But I've spent lots of time out in the field. Believe me, I mean, until you have them try to set fires and blame it on you, you just don't know how hardcore this is and how much they've trained them to hate the American people. But God help us. John, separately, we've had all these people calling in about how they were trained to take on militias. Specifically, I mean, we have their documents. It's Tea Parties, militias, everybody. I mean, have you seen any of that?
Yeah, I mean, that's specifically, the people that are supposedly against the New World Order, that are against, and they all say that it's like, these people are crazy, like, haha, there's no New World Order, But this is what they think, and, the people that are against the Federal Reserve is a big one for some reason. Anybody who doesn't like the Federal Reserve is a terrorist, I mean, so...
Meanwhile, 99% of the American people are against the Federal Reserve. In national polls, it's above 80% want it abolished or audited. Everybody knows the bankers are a bunch of crooks at the national level, international level. And that's actually in Army documents we have and federal documents. So you're not telling us anything that isn't public, but specifically, so they get the commander up in front of the group, they show you PowerPoints, they laugh at people, it's all a big joke. I mean, they call us drunks, they call us all these names. I mean, is that basically what's going on?
Right. I mean, it's just class. Whenever you're going to class, I mean, you get training provided to you. There's different types of training that you get. There's the training in the classroom. There's training that's like actual hands-on. And, then there's drills with assisting with National Guard and the police force and like national level exercise. That's NLE is a big one. Everyone trains for that. And the training just keeps getting more realistic and more specifically seems to be targeted directly at, dissenting Americans that are just protecting their rights. It doesn't really seem like anybody's doing anything that we haven't always done, that makes us Americans. But in
the drill manuals, in the scenario manuals, militias and Tea Party members are described as Ku Klux Klan running around with guns that want to murder everyone, drinking whiskey. I mean, people can go read it right now, 3 pages of this garbage that was just going on 4 days ago. and it's total demonization. What type of demonization have you seen?
Well, definitely they are beating into everyone's heads, like, you know, that these people are personally have something against us, like, so that they want to bring out, that's like kind of a psychological thing that I noticed they do. They try a lot of psychological, getting you to, you know, think of them as not human. They're, you know, dehumanize them so you don't care to go after them and use your full force against them, and feel that there's definitely a threat on you against them. Like, these people hate the military. They hate anybody who is, you know, they hate the police. They're cop killers, you know, and there's, like, specific examples they give. And, like, you know, the Huttery militia, they're trying to kill all the cops. I mean, that's why they're doing these things, so that they can get us turned against them and not care, not look at them as American citizens. We're going to look at them as traitors and dissenters that need to be put down because
enemy belligerents. They're now saying in the legislation, U.S. citizens, and it says that we can be seized by the Army for any reason, for any intelligence reason or any reason directed by the president.